How you doing, YouTube? This is your guy HKillRocks again, and well, I've been sitting here watching videos for a little while and realized it's been just about a year since I've made a really relevant rant video. I mean, I made a few other videos, like one about Sasha Fierce, fucking Beyonce's alter ego, something about Diablo 3 coming to consoles. Not sure why that pissed me off so much because there's really nothing I can do about it either way. And one thing about backmasking. So, you know what? I thought I'd go ahead and just talk about a little bit of a topic that's been bothering me ever since I made those rants against April and Wayne's show. Naturally, because I was going against a religious force, or rather a movement that is focused on religion, naturally I get some hate mail. That's pretty self-explanatory why. I mean, I'm going against what is a force that's going from a perspective of a religion. It's pretty common. But I figured I would go ahead and put my own views out there so people can better understand where I'm coming from. You see, yeah, that video was made out of passion. I was angry. So you can't really expect me to be completely, absolutely 100% rational. I was pissed. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It wasn't perfectly made and completely rational decisions, and I didn't expect to get a total of about six or 7,000 views. I'm not going to do the math right here, right now. That'd be boring. But basically, where I'm coming from now on my whole views of the whole situation on why we should just ignore it is basically because of the fact that I believe good and evil truly do not exist. And here's why, and here's my logic. If you don't agree, don't care. I'm not coming from it from a religious standpoint at all. I believe good and evil straight up don't exist. That you can perceive it as good and evil, but in the end, it deduces down to varying shades of gray rather than black and white. You see, here's my logic here. Take an evil act. You look at it in terms of black and white. A man who is said to commit a murder. Yeah, he committed a murder, killed somebody. There's no questioning it about it. The guy straight up says he killed the man. He killed the man. What can you say? He did it. There's no other way of saying it. Okay, we've established that he is a murderer. Fair enough. But his own intentions caused him to believe that he was absolutely correct. Does that make him completely wrong or completely right? There's really not a good way to say yes or no. If you try to look at it in black and white, he believed he was right. Yes, he was incorrect. But does it make him absolutely wrong? Because he in his true mind believed he was correct. No matter what. He thought he was right. End of story. Does it make him right or wrong, truly? I'm not so sure. You see, in my eyes, every bad situation you can find where the other person, in their perspective, saw something good in it. Like, you never know. That person could have been defending himself, truly. It could have been an act of self-defense. Could have been that he killed him because there was something bad about the other person. There's no way for us truly to know unless we can peer into the minds of others truly and absolutely see from their perspective and our own, and truly judge the character of varying shades of gray, whether it be darker or lighter. Now, to get back on that whole religious thing, I don't like. I'd rather not take a stab at religion again. I've already done that. But let's take the ultimate good, the ultimate bright light of society. It's a godly image. Obviously, even if you're an atheist, the most common belief of the ultimate good can be perceived from some of the most religious people out there. Some people believe that the most religious people out there are supposed to be the best people out there and the most good and saints of the world. Obviously, saints come from religious text. Anyway, my point being is that churches and good figures of religion can do great things, but at the same time, you don't know what happens behind closed doors. They could also do things of great power and great evil in the name of God and not be using it for God. That's not to go and say that their God is evil, but rather that humankind has the potential to take something that once was good and make it evil. You could let's take the hammer for example. It's a tool. originally built and originally invented as a tool to build and to create shelter from the harsh winds and the harsh whatever land you live in. If you're in Siberia, you build a home to keep away from to keep warm in the cold and the snow. If you're in Ohio, you keep it here for the rain. That's where I'm from, Ohio. Put it in northern Canada, you're doing the same thing Russia's doing. You put it in some of the southern parts of Mexico, you're keeping it away from the shade. You put a shelter in the desert, you're keeping in the shade. You're keeping out of the sandstorm, stuff like that. You're keeping out of harm. Makes sense, right? But then look what else has been used for the Warhammer. Hammer, well, the hammer can be called the hammer, or it could be called the Warhammer. You could use, Warhammers have been present in lots of literature, folklore. Look at Thor, the Norse god of thunder and lightning. His icon is a massive hammer called Mjolnir. It's a Warhammer. It's meant to kill people. It's meant to crush skulls. It was forged out of a dying star, so says Marvel Comics. Not sure about the actual Norse mythology, but Marvel Comics says that it's fucking dying star. I'm going to believe it's a dying star. It makes sense. Try to put as much logic into things as possible. But you see the paradox here is that anything, whether it be good or evil, can be used to create or destroy. That truly equivalent exchange is always here. I use the Full Metal Alchemist version because it's easier to say the principles of equivalent exchange rather than the law of definite proportions, the law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of energy. Because even in all that, there's still the one law that I believe in, that's a law of conservation of karma. Karma is always exchanged. I believe very much so in karma. Yes, that was my foot. Anyway, nothing can truly be created or destroyed. Therefore, truly nothing evil can be done, though evil, I believe, is conflict. Evil is conflict. So take this into perspective. By saying all this, all that I've said so far, is I've established through my own logic, this is what I've reached. If you don't agree, I'm sorry. Here's where I'm reaching it. I believe so far that we can't truly say any one thing is absolutely good because something bad could come of it, or something bad could have potentially come from it, or someone would have disagreed. And truly nothing evil can truly happen because there's no way that we could absolutely say it was 100% evil, because you could have seen it from any number of perspectives to say it could have been good too. Now, I feel like I didn't firmly state my point enough on good being absolutely good. You see, anyone could disagree with something truly good. I mean, take President Obama's principles. I mean, I'm sure that he absolutely thinks this is the best thing to do. Whether or not he sits there and thinks, I know this country is going to hate me for this, but this is what it's for its own good. I'm almost fairly certain that Barack Obama does that on a daily basis. That sits there and thinks, I'm sorry, America, you guys are really going to hate me for this, but it's for your own good. That or people who are the redneck principle of it is that he's a power-hungry madman and he just wants the money. I personally don't care. It doesn't matter to me in the end because I don't believe my vote counts. In the end, it all comes down to the Electoral College. Doesn't matter if one guy doesn't vote. One guy. I'll probably wind up voting later on in the future, but that's how I feel right now. Anyway, to finish up my little debate here, rather discussion, I believe that because anyone can disagree with something that is said to be truly good, nothing can be said to be truly good because not 100% people agrees that it is truly good. And any evil act can be seen from different perspectives to be called good instead. I mean, look at Adolf Hitler. People thought he was absolutely good and perfect, and he was fucking mad. So, that leaves room to assume that there is no such evil act either. There is no true black and white to the world. The world is grays, not black and white. So, what do I believe in? This is nerdy as fuck, but it's very true. The 3.5 version of the Dungeons & Dragons freaking alignment scale is probably the easiest way to describe the world. You're either good, neutral, or evil, and each of those three have two other categories, lawful or chaotic. You can either be lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, lawful good and lawful neutral, true neutral, or chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, or chaotic evil. The names are pretty self-explanatory. If not, you can probably find a link somewhere on Google. Go nuts and figure it out. It's pretty damn simple. But in the end, if you seriously sit there and think about it, think about you guys' ultimate goods and ultimate evils. Whatever you guys believe in, whatever mumbo-jumbo it is. You can believe in Buddha for all I care. If you really want your ultimate good to succeed, whatever it may be, think of what happens when paradise finally comes to Earth. What happens? Well, as I said before, if my theories are correct, I hope they are, but if not, oh well. Here's what I believe. Evil is conflict. So if there was no conflict in the world, by definition, that means a perfect world. A world where nothing goes wrong. A world where nothing is wrong. Where everything is right. Paradise. Otherwise known as utopia. Utopia is something that has been proven by many philosophers to be not only impossible because of the fact that conflict must originate somewhere. There must always be conflict, otherwise no motivation. No motivation to strive, no reason to go on. Humanity dies out. Not only that, but completely undesirable. Because if there is no conflict, no decisions, if we don't make any decisions for ourselves, everything is run by a central hive mind, let's say it like that. That every decision is based off of the will of the utopian collective, then no choices will be made. No free will exist. And by that, free will and sentient mind is what makes us human. Therefore, we die as a species. We revert to nothing. We revert to an organic machine that keeps the planet running, and we sustain ourselves. What's the point in that? Why do you want that? This is why I don't want it. Because also, if your true evil succeeds, as whatever biblical text or whatever scary conspiracy theory you believe, if an ultimate evil exists and there's no good to strive over, and all there is conflict, the world will eventually implode on itself. It was the whole fear of the Cold War, mutually assured destruction. That nukes will fire over nukes, will fire over nukes, will fire over nukes. Millions of destructive weapons fired over into the atmosphere, over land, over seas, everywhere, eventually irradiating and decaying the entire world. Everyone will kill each other in the process. No one will be left alive. Everything will die. It's quite simple. If ultimate good succeeds, we lose our humanity to ourselves. If ultimate evil succeeds, then the world is destroyed in the ashes of its own wake. Therefore, we live in a world of perfect neutrality, and good cannot exist without evil, and evil can't exist without good. Therefore, they cancel each other out, and there's no such thing as good or evil otherwise. Right and wrong, however, that's for you to decide. Is right and wrong interchangeable with good and evil? You decide. In my eyes, there is a very big difference. Your labels of good and evil, to me, do not exist. So, all the comments over the past year on the April and Wayne Show reply videos, thank you. I really do appreciate whatever you have to say. I mean, you are entitled to your opinion, and I'm publicly posting mine. It's my right by congressional law, and it's my right as a human being for having a sentient mind. So, continue to like, comment, subscribe. I do read every comment, and thank you all so much. This has been H. Killrocks, and I'm signing off for the night.